Top 10 Most Iconic News Recordings in History. Hey everyone, and welcome to a deep dive into the moments that shook the world. The news recordings etched in our collective memory. From moments of triumph and wonder to those of profound loss and tragedy, these recordings offer a glimpse into the past, reminding us of the power of journalism. Get ready to journey through time as we break down when these news recordings took place, what was happening in the world at that time, and what makes each recording so iconic. Chapter 1. In 2022, the world watched as news broke of Queen Elizabeth II's passing. The BBC delivered the news with somber reverence, reflecting the mood of a nation in mourning. The image of the flag at Buckingham Palace being lowered to half-mast was a powerful symbol of the end of an era. Queen Elizabeth had reigned for 70 years, a beacon of stability through decades of change. Her passing wasn't just a news story, it was a deeply personal event for millions across the globe. The news recordings from that day captured the collective grief and paid tribute to a life of duty and service. The recordings serve as a historical record of a monarch's passing and a testament to the enduring legacy of Queen Elizabeth II. Chapter 2. The year was 1968, a time of great upheaval and change in America. The civil rights movement was in full swing, with Martin Luther King Jr. at the forefront, fighting tirelessly for equality and justice. The news of his assassination sent shockwaves through the nation and the world. Walter Cronkite, a trusted voice in American homes, delivered the news with a somber tone, his grief palpable. The recordings of Cronkite's announcement and the reactions that followed are seared into our collective memory. The raw emotion, the anger, the despair, they laid bare the deep racial divisions that still plagued the nation. King's assassination ignited a firestorm of protests and riots, forcing America to confront the ugly reality of racism and inequality. The news recordings from that day serve as a stark reminder of the cost of hate and the ongoing struggle for racial justice in America. Chapter 3. January 28, 1986, began like any other day. Millions of Americans, many of them schoolchildren, tuned in to watch the launch of the Space Shuttle Challenger. Anticipation turned to horror as the shuttle exploded live on television, taking the lives of all 7 astronauts on board. The words of NASA commentator Steve Nesbitt, obviously a major malfunction, echoed the disbelief and shock that gripped the nation. The live footage of the plume of smoke and debris raining down over the Atlantic Ocean became a haunting image etched in our minds. The Challenger disaster shattered the image of American technological invincibility and served as a stark reminder of the inherent risks of space exploration. The news recordings from that day captured the raw emotion, the disbelief, and the profound sense of loss that engulfed the nation. They also serve as a testament to the bravery of the Challenger crew and the ongoing pursuit of space exploration. Chapter 4. September 11, 2001 dawned like any other Tuesday, but by lunchtime on the East Coast, the world was forever changed. The attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon unfolded live on television. The horrific images seared into our collective consciousness. News networks like CNN and the BBC became lifelines to the unfolding events, their anchors struggling to comprehend the magnitude of the tragedy. The 9/11 attacks were not just an attack on American soil, they were an attack on our sense of security, our way of life. The recordings from that day serve as a chilling reminder of the human capacity for evil, but also of the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable tragedy. Chapter 5. For nearly 3 decades, the Berlin Wall stood as a potent symbol of the Cold War, dividing East and West Berlin. Then, in 1989, the seemingly impossible happened. The wall came crumbling down. News cameras captured the euphoric scenes of East and West Berliners joining hands, scaling the wall and taking hammers to its concrete facade. The fall of the Berlin Wall marked the symbolic end of the Cold War, paving the way for the reunification of Germany. The news recordings from that day capture the raw emotion, the joy, and the disbelief of a people finally free from decades of division. Chapter 6. Richard Nixon's presidency, marred by the Watergate scandal, culminated in a historic moment on August 8, 1974, his resignation speech. Facing impeachment and certain removal from office, Nixon addressed the nation from the Oval Office, his words broadcast live around the world. "I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow," Nixon declared, his voice heavy with resignation. The speech marked the first and, to date, only resignation of a U.S. president. Nixon's resignation, while a shock to many, came as a relief to others, a sign that even the most powerful person in the country was not above the law. The news recordings of Nixon's resignation speech capture the somber tone of a nation grappling with a crisis of leadership and trust. Chapter 7. On July 20, 1969, the world held its breath as Neil Armstrong took one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, becoming the first human to set foot on the moon. Hundreds of millions of people around the globe watched the grainy black and white images broadcast live from the lunar surface. Armstrong's now iconic words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," echoed across the airwaves, uniting the world in a shared moment of awe and wonder. The moon landing was not just an American triumph, it was a testament to human ingenuity and the power of collective effort. The news recordings from that day capture the excitement, the tension, and the sheer joy of a moment that redefined what was possible for humanity. They serve as a timeless reminder of the power of dreams and the importance of pushing the boundaries of human exploration. The moon landing remains one of the most significant events in human history, inspiring generations to reach for the stars. Chapter 8, JFK Assassination, 1963. November 22, 1963, became a day etched in American history for all the wrong reasons. The assassination of President John F. Kennedy in Dallas, Texas, sent shockwaves through the nation and the world. The news, delivered in a somber tone by CBS anchor Walter Cronkite, left an indelible mark on a generation. "President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time," Cronkite announced, his voice cracking with emotion. The image of Cronkite, a trusted figure in American homes, removing his glasses to wipe away a tear, became a poignant symbol of the nation's collective grief. Kennedy's assassination, shrouded in conspiracy theories to this day, remains one of the darkest chapters in American history. The news recordings from that day capture the shock, the disbelief, and the profound sense of loss that engulfed the nation. The events of November 22, 1963, serve as a reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring legacy of a president whose life was cut tragically short. Chapter 9, Pearl Harbor Attack, 1941. The date was December 7, 1941, a date which will live in infamy, as President Franklin D. Roosevelt famously declared. The Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, a surprise military strike that plunged the United States into World War II, was broadcast to a stunned nation via radio news bulletins. The crackling voices of radio announcers, their words imbued with urgency and disbelief, brought the news of the attack into American homes. The attack on Pearl Harbor was a pivotal moment in American history, marking the nation's entry into World War II. The news recordings from that day capture the initial shock, the fear, and the growing sense of resolve as the nation grappled with the reality of war. The recordings serve as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of conflict and the importance of vigilance in the face of aggression. Chapter 10, Hindenburg Disaster, 1937. May 6, 1937 witnessed one of the most dramatic and enduring news recordings in history, the Hindenburg Disaster. The German passenger airship, a symbol of technological prowess, burst into flames while attempting to land in Lakehurst, New Jersey, the horrific scene captured on film and radio. "Oh, the humanity!" cried radio reporter Herbert Morrison, his voice trembling with emotion, as he witnessed the airship engulfed in flames. Morrison's words, broadcast live across the nation, became synonymous with the tragedy, capturing the shock and horror of those who witnessed the disaster. The Hindenburg Disaster, a major setback for the airship industry, marked the end of an era. The news recordings from that day provide a chilling glimpse into the chaos and terror of the event. Top 10 most iconic news recordings in history. From the moon landing to the fall of the Berlin Wall, these recordings remind us of the power of journalism to capture history as it unfolds. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. And be sure to let us know in the comments which news recording you find most impactful.